Relocation.
Here, I've got me card.
Bit card valid.
Proceed.
Next.
Please, I'm just taking my point to
Relocation.
school.
You know what happened last week, Rodders? They shut me down. Council fella turns up, flashes a badge, all because I wouldn't take one of them flaming brick cards.
You got closed for
I
that?
said, cash only, pal. He says, no brick card, no light.
You will recognize Palestine. Recognize it immediately or you will be exterminated.
All right, I recognise Palestine, I swear. Just don't hurt anyone.
Affirmation received.
Identify yourself. Present Brit card for service.
Sorry? A brick card? I've just got a bank card.
Brit card required. Proof of Britishness mandatory to procure.
Sir, no Brit card to board this bus. Present it. Present it
I haven't
immediately.
got one.
Look, I've got cash.
Can't you just take
Payment
that?
in currency is not accepted. You are not compliant.
Wait.
I'll get off all right. Just let me produce your Brit card.
My what?
You are consuming without authorization. Show the Brit card or face sanction.
I don't know what that is.
Product vaporization.
I could stay like this forever.
Violated Brit card. Intrusion detected.
What the? Is that a Dalek?
Human, you have shared an opinion on social media. Present your Brit card.
My what? I don't have one.
Unacceptable. You will be vaporized. Now present your Brit card.
I don't have one, mate.
Non-compliance exterminate.
Oh, my chicken!
It's absolutely absurd, but also probably what's going to happen. Good morning, everybody. What day is it today? I don't even know. Wednesday, I want to say. We got a lot to talk about. I think I've got a good hedging strategy. There's the potential, if we have a good day today, I think I could break $7 million for the first time ever. I'm kind of excited about that. Probably not looking at T-Doc too much, unless there's a really good reason to. If their financials have gotten a lot better, let me know if that's the case and true. I think we're going to see Bitcoin miners taking off again today. Let's just take a look over here. Let's look at Iron, kind of the kingfish. If we look over here, we can see Iron up 6% in pre-market after being up over 8 yesterday. Cypher is another big one that we listen to Mike Alfred and others talking about. We've got Bitfarms, which has done really well. And then there's the ones I own, which have done equally well because I own options. So I've done really good off of them. But Bitfarms up 6.79% after going up 9.28 yesterday. Mara yesterday had a good day too. We're finally starting to see Mara and CleanSpark kind of get out there and get it. And that's a beautiful thing to see. But if we look over here, we can see that it was up almost 10% yesterday, up 3% in pre-market. And then we'll just pull over CleanSpark here too. And again, almost 10% yesterday, sitting at about 3.91 right now. When it gets up here and it hits this 24 range, that is a temporary zone where we could take a breather. So just keep that in mind. And then the next one is just going to be much higher. It's going to be much higher. This is happening really quickly. Look at how quickly this happens. People constantly underestimate how fast asymmetric investments can go up given the right conditions, right? The macro is beautiful. We're going to be lowering rates by 2 more rate cuts here soon. On top of that, we're doing a lot more. Let's just segue over to this real quick, and then I'll look at chat. But I said this is so bullish combined with, and what was I saying? Ash Crypto posted that Fed Chair Powell said we may be approaching the end of the balance sheet contraction in the coming months. I 100% agree that that's happening. Zero Hedge posted QE starting again, and I agree that that's happening too. But there's so many other things that are bullish right now, and for people that have been here, you guys already know these things, right? But this is for people that might be new, and I hope you're liking and sharing and commenting to support this channel because I think we do great work. It looks like we had Brad Garling or Gerstner, I'm sorry, not Garlinghouse, not XRP, Gerstner talking on CNBC since we've got CNBC and Fox Business running all the time now. We'll segue to that probably in a second because I think he's brilliant and I want to listen to him. But there's so much to talk about today. Again, 2 more rate cuts this year. That's just a given. If you go over to the CME Fed Watch tool, you could see it. I'll pop over here real quick. But we've got the December date with a 94.9 for December. 94.9 chance of a rate cut. And this is after October's 97.8 chance of a rate cut. So we're getting 2. It's just happening. Conditions would have to significantly improve. And if that happens, guys, that ain't a bad thing. You're still going up. And again, we've got our hedge now, or I've got mine. I don't know if I'll disclose it in this video. I might make a separate members only video on YouTube for that one. And then we can talk about it maybe in the coming days. I really like it. I think it's an opportunity. I think it's something that's a hedge. And then at the same time, it doesn't have to be a hedge. If the markets keep screaming higher, I think it goes higher too, in preparation of trying to be a hedge. So I think it's just up, and I love that. And if you devote, like, let's say 5 to 10% of your capital towards that as you're making shit tons of money, then you're going to almost fully protect yourself, most likely, in a really bad situation, because I think this thing turns into a hedge. So it's just a really great opportunity to make money and protect ourselves. And that's what we want to do. And we're going to be looking at others too, because we want to make sure that we're able to hedge ourselves. We want to make sure that we can make money on any downside that comes in the future while mostly aiming higher, right? That's what we call risk management. Some people don't know what that is. Some people, after they got liquidated on Friday of last week, decided, you know what I should do? I should use fucking leverage again. And they're bitching on social media because another Trump tweet came out and it liquidated them. How moronic do you have to be? How short-sighted do you have to be? Why can't you just wait? I get it. People pop up big, beautiful numbers all the time and you get, envy. I get it, right? I've been there. I started at a much smaller account, but you can't compare yourselves to others. It's the thief of joy for a reason. You need to compare yourself to yourself. Are you doing it right? Is your percentage going up? Don't be like, oh, hey, I've got 10 grand and these other people have 50 million. And so I need to keep up with them. That's just not going to work. So please do not use perpetual contracts and that form of leverage where you can get liquidated really quick. And that is worse than the 2X funds. But again, the 2X funds could wipe you out too. One of these 2X funds, if the stock goes down in 50% in a day, you're done. The fund is broken. So make sure you don't own any of that shit. You should never own something that can drop 50% in a day or have a major 20, 30% move in a day. You don't want to do that, even though I will say Solt kind of pushing the limits on that, but it's all right. We bought into that dip. But anyway, let's get back to the bullish things that are combined with the balance sheet reduction coming to an end, and if anything, adding to it. We got the 2 rate cuts. We got a low tax environment. Again, full corporate first year deductions, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. Foreign investment flowing in hand over fist. We're seeing record numbers with that. We got the AI build out. We got reduced regulatory environment. We got incentives to buy American. People seem to have forgotten about the fact that you'll be able to fully tax deduct your interest on any Tesla vehicles that you buy because they're like 100% American, or at least enough to matter. That's going to be a great incentive. That's an incentive GM doesn't have. Have you seen GM? Have you seen them? What did they have, a $1.3 billion write-off? Woof. Anyway, we're reducing drug costs with Trump RX. Love it. Doge efforts to increase efficiency. We're reinvigorating the housing market as prices drop while existing home inventories, which would normally make up 85% of home sales, open up and rates are coming down. Banks taking off from additional lending, especially if they take Fannie and Freddie private. Again, companies like SoFi are licking their chops for this shit, right? Joel said small account here, but port's up 240% year to date and still rising. And your portfolio is doing better than mine, actually, probably. So, yeah. So feel good about that, right? Like you're already taking on more risk than I am, or you wouldn't have that same level of return, or you just picked better. Maybe you held on to Iron or Cypher or some of these other things that have just went up like gangbusters. That can do it too. But I'm happy to hear it, brother. Yeah, so focus on that. Focus on your gains, not other people's gains. Look at them as inspiration, not with jealousy. Anytime you look at people with jealousy, it's not going to benefit you. And you should be looking at them with admiration and figuring out how you can be that. So on top of that, we have potential for tapping natural resources. People don't realize this, but our assets are worth a lot more than our debt. Like, I don't know, I can't remember what the number was, $175 trillion in assets versus our debt load. it actually looks like nothing when you compare that, right? Like if you look at that balance sheet, you're like, oh, this person's fine. And yet everybody's worrying about the United States. Oh, is this another thing that maybe hints towards my hedge? I don't know. Repricing gold reserves. Yes, we can do that. Modifying the SLR, the supplemental leverage ratio, in order to be able to increase lending. Yes, we can do that. There's so many levers that we can push to get things just booming. Yeah, CleanSpark's doing well. It was at 420 or 4.2% on the day. That's beautiful. Don't forget, though, it's coming up to a ceiling right around 24, 25. You could expect that to slow down, especially since we have resistance that goes back how many years? How many years? I mean, technically, you can draw this line, I think, to here, right? I think like to here. So you can draw this line to here. And that started many moons ago in 2014. So just think about that. Think about the fact that we're getting ready to really just substantially break outside of this one time where we really were able to get higher before just eventually cascading down. It was kind of a blow off top of the last cycle, I think. Yeah, it was actually 2021. So, but now we're getting ready to break out of this multi-year trend. And it goes back to 2014. That's 11 years. It just like this is probably our blow off top, and maybe that blow off top in Mara only takes us to 42. I'm going to make a shit ton of money off of that because I have about $600,000 in options on Mara. So if it just does that, if it just goes to 42, that's all I need. If it goes up to 65, well, I don't know how much money I've made, but it's a fucking lot. All right, let's get caught up with chat, man. Hey, team. Everybody's saying to hit the like. I agree with that statement. Rex and TSWCF. Oh, sorry, bro. Now that treasuries are back to NAV, do they have any chances of running? Yes, I think they do. I don't know when it is. I'm stacking with them right now. I have been buying. Let me just pull this over real quick so that I have another screen to work with. I have been buying recently, and if I go to subs, you should be able to see that. Let's see. Yeah, here's a pretty good list. I think I had another one afterwards, but you can see I've been buying TSWCF. I bought Metaplanet. I even bought ASST just as a potential swing. I did that for a reason. Maybe I should have done calls. Whatever. I don't want to complicate it too much. If you look over here, we could still go down where we have this daily drop, the daily gap, I should say, that gets us down to about 61 cents or something like that. So we could still drop 40% on this, right? But right now, after peak volumes, like one of the highest volumes in a very long time, going all the way back to May when this thing originally took off, we had a pretty big weekly daily candle over here, and so that's a lot of volume getting processed over a short period of time. I'm willing to bet our weekly is going to be okay too. Right now, it's sitting in red, but it's easily going to be the third largest weekly candle going back in the history of this company. So, and there's this big gap to fill here going all the way up to $1.54. So if this thing drops further, just based on technicals alone as like a little shitty small trade, I think I have like 1% of my portfolio towards this right now. It's probably not even that. It's probably like 0.6. I might have a little bit of fun with that. And then Metaplanet is down 81% from its high. It has just been crushed. It could go further. But I mean, look at this. You've got this is a strong level of support. And even if let's look at the Japanese version of this, just because it's got a lot longer of a time frame. There's a very heavy shelf going all the way down to 350. So could this thing go lower? It could go to the 100 technically. That's possible. That's at 371, but 350 to like 370 or 380 are really even starting at 400 is a strong level of support. So we're getting to the point where I'm accumulating this now, and that's why I bought, I think, 60,000 plus yesterday. You could just see like Metaplanet. I probably bought 70 or 80,000, honestly. I don't even know. I've got like 140,000 now on Metaplanet, so I'm back to a more respectable holding. And but you can see I was buying other stuff too, right? BMNU sold, TSWCF. Selling CleanSpark calls that went up a lot and just diversifying to other things. Tesla, I bought 49 shares there. That's a decent chunk of money. And so, yeah, just spreading it out. You can see I bought a little bit of TLT too. Maybe that's part of my hedging strategy, just in different ways. Let's see what else we got here. I just paid attention to you saying you're always early and bought out a little further. Yeah, and sometimes you just wait, right? Like you just put it on your list of things to do, and you try and figure out your timing for it. So, Mom J, would you check TMC, Metal Resources, Government has a stake? Yeah, I should look at some of those. Give me a little bit of time. The hedge is not MP, no Kamawa. Could it be something like that too? Could I have other things in rare earth elements and or defense sector that we end up using kind of as a hedge against war? Yes, probably. ArcG's looking good. Yep. SBET holder. I haven't even paid attention to SBET. Has that been doing okay? Not really. But BMNU hasn't done that well either. So, all right, let's keep going. Alex Garcia, 2x ETFs are a lot safer than perpetual leverage, not even a debate. Friday proved that, right? Friday really proved that. And then people getting liquidated again yesterday on a really timid day also proved that. Sick shirt, Jesse. Is that your merch? No, this is a Tesla shirt. I do have merch though. You can find it for sure on mobile, but I do have merch. Let me see. I can show it to you. I have hats. I have mugs. My wife did all this stuff. She was awesome. I don't even know if I can find it, though, without being on, like, mobile. Does it show on these? I don't know. It's weird sometimes. It's like I think you have to be in mobile. Over here, store. So we do have merch. I should know this, right? I'm such a horrible promoter. So a couple of my favorite things are, and I've got the Fibonacci on all these sweaters. These are all nice clothes. We went top end for all of the merch, but I like the M2MO stickers. I like on the back of this, and I'll just show you real quick. I've got the Fibonacci sequence, which I love. Again, the golden ratio is something that is awesome and that holds true to so many things in life, let alone investing. I also have that. You can get it on the stainless steel tumbler and my favorite thing, the coffee mug, which I'm not sporting today. But yeah, you can get like a bunch of different colors. I think it's dishwasher safe too, I want to say on the mug. It's like, it's a good store. It's a good store. We didn't skimp on it. All right, confession. I don't want to be attacked, so I never wear any Tesla merch, even though I would. Yeah. I wear Tesla merch. I don't wear MAGA merch too often unless I want to piss somebody off. Then I do. You bought more Yossi? Yeah, I've heard that's doing really good. How about Schultz tagging Elon on X yesterday? Yeah, there's a lot. Schultz is being very smart with his marketing. I like that. I think that's a good idea. Let me see here. How about I just contracted with Anduril on a project. They told me hopefully going public in the next year. I love that. I do want to get Anduril stock. That'll be an IPO where I'd be happy to put $1 million into it. Right now I have the thought process of if I get to 10 million, I'm expecting 20 now, honestly. But if I get to 10, I would probably have $1 million in like a company like Anduril. I would have probably $4 million in Tesla. And then I would have other things that I'm invested in, along with at least 500,000 in hedging, up to $1 million, depending upon like how much higher I get. Plus, because I'd want to be hedged pretty good where if the world falls apart. I don't get rich off of that, but I'm able to recoup the money that I was sitting on, or at least get close to it. And that because when you ride that wave back up, you're just going to get uber rich. So that's kind of the thought. Let's keep going here, though. Jesse, have you looked at Path? Huge potential. I don't know. There's a bunch of these old ones that people looked at. Do any of them make money? Because I'd be lying if I said I didn't look at them more as a short. MP is interesting. I've been doing research on rare earth elements and just the processing and refinement of them, and I'm interested in a lot of that stuff. But if you guys do notice, if you look in the bottom right corner, you'll see that Bitcoin is getting some sell pressure. We're getting a little bit of a sell-off in the morning. I can't say a sell-off, but just selling off a little bit into the morning, which I love. I actually think that's a good thing. I think kind of selling off at the beginning And then, because again, look, we're already pretty green in here, right? We got Tesla up 1%. We got NVIDIA and all the chips just doing really well. But I think pulling back a little bit into that open is just setting the spring for a launch. It might be a good day to, again, take some additional profits. I don't know. We don't have a date on the IPO yet, unless somebody knows of something. I don't think we have one yet. Kraken for Anduril exposure. Yeah, Kraken is interesting, but there's so many of these that have already went up so fucking much. That's part of the problem, right? Let's look at Path real quick. There's a whole bunch more news-related events. I might just have to start doing multiple shows here soon just to keep up with everything, because I feel like we need to keep up with stuff. In my hedging strategy, guys, I'll probably today make another video about that and then post it for members of YouTube, okay? So if you're a member on YouTube, even the basic shit, the $2, you'll get that members-only video, and then tomorrow we'll probably talk about it more. That's most likely how things are going to play out. I'll let you know if any of that changes. So Path is interesting. Path actually has revenues over 100,000 ARR, annual reoccurring revenue, looks good. Customers over $1 million, looks good, even though the smaller customers are increasing at a larger rate. Dollar net retention rate going down. Cash flow is positive. Revenue continues to go up. This actually looks pretty interesting. And which one was this again? Software infrastructure. What does Path do? Let me just go over here and read about it. Aims to transform companies into fully automated enterprises, leveraging automation to maximize their potential. They provide a comprehensive automation platform featuring top robotic process automation, RPA, and a complete set of tools to help organizers quickly expand their digital business process. Is that right? Is that all of it? I hate it when they're just like, I don't know, just really long. Really long, lots of complicated words, and it's just like sometimes it's better just to shorten it up. Automation SaaS. Okay, I like that idea. I mean, revenue, the estimates are looking good. Let's look at activity. Nobody really buying back, nothing really to look at for insider activity. It looks pretty chill. Retail ownership has been going down. I actually like that. Institutional ownership at its highest levels. 13 as a percent, looking even better. Shares held short. What's the percent on that? 12. You know, Alejandro's done a good job. I haven't talked to him on X in a while. I've got to see if I can find him, but I didn't see him on there. Maybe he's taking a break. But I do like the work that he's been doing. I like the difference between percent and held short. But yeah, 12% short. So there's a little bit of a short squeeze potential there. Revenue per employee is going up. It's not bad. So the forward PE of 23 is good. If these guys don't slow down dramatically, this is good. Not a treasury company. Any view? It's beat up like the other treasuries. I don't have one because I just don't know enough about it. I haven't really looked at the chart. But this is actually, Path is actually pretty interesting. But the problem is they've run like a decent amount. But who knows? It might still be interesting. It might be something we want to look at. Let me just bring this up over here. I haven't looked at this one in a while. I should update this. I don't know. I'm assuming this one's in the Discord. If it's not, let me know. And we can get it added. All right. So Path is actually stopped perfectly at the dot 618 for consolidation. Matt, you can talk in chat now. Thank you for becoming a member. And you'll get that video later if I get it done today about that hedging strategy. All right, so this is a lot of volume right here. This could be a short-term peak. It's definitely hitting up against the dot 618, which we've talked about as the golden retracement zone, right? So it could grind here for a little bit, but the market is so bullish, I wonder if it doesn't try and test up to higher levels. It feels like a natural zone is 20. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. I don't know from a fundamentals level if it should go a lot higher than that. But if you look at where it's been, I mean, 88 is a lot higher than 17. And the valuation, at least with the forward PE, is not bad to look at. So that's kind of cool. Bitcoin continuing to see some pressure. Don't care too much. USAR and NAC for rare earths. Why are those the best? Or why are they so good? And I looked at USAR. I think I got some grok response to that. Do I actually have one of those pulled up? I should look. You know what we need to do? We need to check too. Oh yeah, actually that's funny because I do have a grok sitting over here with some of those. USAR, it's developing round top for full mine to magnet chain lithium plus REE refining DOD funding rumors. So that's an interesting one. I think it's smaller cap too. I also think it's screamed up a lot. We should take a look at those at some point here. We should definitely do that. I do want to check though first. We haven't done this in a while. Just because Tom Lee didn't have a lot of research out, but I want to see what we have here for Fund Strat. Look at Can Up. What's Can Up? Or CAN? Is that what you're trying to say? Path is like Palantir growth. How high is iron going? It could, I don't know. It could go. It could still go a while. Let's pull that up real quick. Bitfarms is going to hit a level here around 7. That's going to be a tougher level. And then but then it's just parabolic levels. Then it's just like stupid shit. Because it can land anywhere between here. This is probably where it's going to die. Thank you, Practical Money. Now you'll get that video when I make it about my hedge, and you'll be able to talk in chat. So this is the Banana Zone stuff. This is the Palantir stuff. Palantir, I think, is up in the red now. It's just really retarded. But yeah, so we're heading to Banana Zone for Bitfarms. I honestly think that Iron is probably heading towards that same boat. Let me look over at it. Mara's up almost 3% in pre-market. This is Metaplanet. Again, there's a reason I'm buying this. It's just so beat up. Let's go over here. Where is iron? Where do I have iron? Where do I have iron? Is it over here? Ah, there it is. So yeah, iron is getting ready to go Banana Zone too. So Bitfarms, iron, I'm sure Cypher looks like that. They're getting ready to Banana Zone. So we just don't even know anymore. I can run on a smaller time frame. I could run a fib. No, I really can't. I could maybe do it from here to here. But either way, we're in a Banana Zone. So it's going to stop somewhere in here probably, but that could be as high as 413%. I don't think that'll happen, but I mean, could it get to 200? Sure. This is the retarded part. Not that iron hasn't already been retarded. It has been, but it's a leader. And so even though it's up 1,300% since March, don't you wish you owned this? That would have been a much better play. And then dial into Iron and Mara right now. Or I'm sorry, CleanSpark and Mara right now. ASTS, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people interested in that. I looked at UUU. That could be interesting. Man, I have a meeting in 1 hour. Oh boy, when CleanSpark ironing. Well, I mean, it's up 4%. That's a lot of money. We'll see if we can get another 40, 50% day. My Mara calls were up almost 70% yesterday, guys. 70%. I mean, that's fucking insane. But yeah, let's look at FS Insight. I started to go down that route. Let's see. In truth, is now a seamless web from which no nation, large or small. Oh yeah, this is a good quote. I'm not going to bastardize it. Here we go.
In truth, the world is now a seamless web from which no nation, large or small, young or old, can disassociate itself. Every attitude and every action of every nation can affect the welfare and security of every other nation around the globe.
That was actually pretty insightful of RFK Sr. That is pretty awesome. It shows inflation primarily a problem for opposing voters. Let's skip that. I want to go back. This is okay. I like the write-ups, but what I want to see is if we have a Tom Lee video. Yes, we do. Who's ready for that shit? Guys, can you hit a like? There is nobody else showing you Tom Lee videos once a week for free to try and entice you to sign up for them and at the same time get more clout. Nobody else is doing that.
Good evening, FS Insight family and community.
Thanks,
Today
boy.
is Tuesday,
Don't sue me.
October 14th, and this is our Macro Minute. Today was another day where markets were roiled by headlines, and I want to kind of cover some of these to give you some perspective. Before the market opened, there was escalation of the
Awesome
U.S.
slink.
and China trade tensions, and one of these was China making a statement about it will fight to the end in the U.S. trade war. And that caused the VIX to spike to...
Dude, they've been saying that since fucking April. Why is that a thing? That is literally nothing whatsoever. Nothing. It's a non-event.
23, which is higher than it was on Friday. And of course, markets to actually fall below the Friday lows. Now, markets somewhat recovered as the morning went on.
A news event.
And at 12 o'clock today, Fed Chair Powell gave a speech at the National Association for Business Economics. And the thing I want to highlight is he talked about the balance sheet runoff and that there's a level where they're going to think that they have ample reserve.
Real quickly, sorry to interrupt, Tom Lee. Were you talking about Canaan? Is that what it is? Alonesis? It's up 90% in 2 days. Energy. Is that the one you're talking about? Is it the Chinese-owned place?
And they may approach that in a few months, which means quantitative tightening could be coming to an end. Now, that was taken as good news, and so markets lifted and the VIX further fell during the day. But at the end of the day, there came this headline. President Trump on Truth Social said, "I believe China is purposely not buying our soybeans and causing difficult for our soybean farmers, and is an economically hostile act. We're considering terminating business with China having to do with cooking oil and other elements of trade as retribution." And with that, the VIX spiked again and the stock market fell. Now, just some perspective, I do think that there's very likely a misinterpretation of China's statements. And the reason I'm pointing that out is that this is what China's Ministry of Commerce said on October 14th. Regarding tariff and trade wars, China's position is consistent. If there's a fight, we will fight to the end. If there's a talk, the door is open.
So again, old news. I told you this.
Well, here's the thing. In May, this is what the ministry said. China's position remains consistent. If there's a fight, we'll fight to the end.
Literally,
if there's a negotiation, the door is open. And in April of this year, the same comment was made. If we fight, we will fight to the end. If we want to talk, the door is open. So guess what? I don't think China's saying anything new.
Fascinating.
And I think that's why market's going to ultimately overlook that. And here's something else I want to talk about, which is as we're getting to the final months of the year, that we have to consider the performance chase. This is from Bloomberg, and they're pointing out that only 22% of active funds are beating the market this year, and it's the worst relative performance in decades. What does that mean? Well, it means fund managers have to think about how they're going to catch up. And we know that the VIX spike favors stocks to have a 200-point gain by mid-November. And we know that seasonals favor a 5% rally into year-end, which implies S&P 7,000. So I think that that means these dips will be shallow. And the the Bank of America Global Fund Manager Survey today shows, or I thought this chart was interesting, which is, what do fund managers see as the top tail risk? Well, in August of this year, they saw the trade war as the top tail risk, but you know what? That proved to be wrong. And in September of this year, they said it was going to be a second wave of inflation.
Wrong.
And that proved not to be the case. And so,
hey, wait. So, yeah, let's just think about this. Trade war triggers global recession. I told you that wasn't the case. I told you why it wasn't going to be like the Great Depression. I told you the differences between the Great Depression and today, right? I told you all those things. And then the second wave of inflation, I said was never going to happen. I told you about that too before it happened.
So they're currently saying it's an AI bubble.
They're saying it's an AI bubble. That's not true. We know that if you listen to Mike Alfred, if you listen to Jensen Huang, if you listen to Elon Musk, hell, if you listen to Sam Altman, if you listen to Dan Ives, if you listen to Tom Lee, if you listen to any number of people, they're all telling you the exact fucking same thing. The All-In Pod, Brad Gerstner, everybody. This shit is taking off.
In an overwhelming percentage or something.
The bubble is coming. It's just not here. It's just starting.
This. Here's the thing. We've talked about this before. NVIDIA is the most important stock in the S&P 500 and in the AI trade. And it still has a lower PE than Costco and Walmart.
Does that make any sense?
And keep in mind, in Cisco in 1998 had a 56 PE, ultimately went to 210 times. So that's what I think is a bubble. And as for strategy, we'd still stick with the Mag 7 and Bitcoin and Ethereum, as well as industrials, financials, small caps, viewing that as a dovish Fed trade. So thanks for listening. Stay on target, and keep in mind this is still one of the most hated V-shaped rallies.
You bet we will, Mr. Tom Lee. We love you, man. Oh, and by the way, you were a runner-up this morning. You were a runner-up. I almost did this for the intro video, but it was just too. It was too short, and I couldn't do it. But this one almost happened, and I love that. Tom Lee is the Pingu, and with his hair, and I love that he's like this Bond character now. I love it. I love it. Thank you very much for all you do, Mr. Tom Lee. Real quickly here, let's just look. We got CNN Fear and Greed Index. Guys, have you ever been making so much money? Well, hopefully you are. I shouldn't say that. If you're in Bitcoin treasuries and just Bitcoin treasuries, it's probably sucked ass. So for you guys, I'm sorry. But if you're better diversified and you've been doing really well off the miners or ARKG or SMCI or any of these other things, and you've been doing really well. Tesla went up a lot, right? We called that one really good. We made money off of ASTS. It's hard to make money off of treasuries. We did that. But we're in the fear zone right now on the stocks. Not even close to neutral. Can you imagine how much money we're going to make? Shelly, Jilsko, I can't tell what that one says. Thank you for becoming members. You can talk and chat, and you'll get to hear about that video later on. I'm going to try and get it out today about hedging. And I think you're going to like it. It's very appealing, guys. And there's different ways to do it depending upon your risk level. This is a good one to do with options, though, because I think it's a really great hedge in that way. I think in some cases you can get 10 to 20x the move that it makes. And that's a crazy number. Anybody who knows about my Options 101 videos, 10 to 20x the underlying is fucking insane. And it's just a great opportunity. We still got Brad Gerstner talking. We might move to him in a second. But look at this. We're not even in neutral yet on the coin market cap fear and greed index. We're still in fear there. And then if we look at the classic fear and greed index on the crypto side, it's at 34 as well. So again, all kind of sitting in the same place. Let's look over here and see if we haven't done this in so long. I'm just going to look at the calendar here real quick and see if there's any news and anything that we want to be following today. We got mortgage rates just a hair lower. That's a good thing. Oh my God, we can't miss this. We can't miss this, guys. Look at this fucking shit right here. We are 4.024%. We are at this is the fourth time we've touched. Look at all this touch. All this touch. They say there's a rule, and I learned this from a guy named Crypto Kirby. Like he's from like Jersey or some shit, New York or something. He's like the most Jersey you've ever heard in your life. But I love the guy. And he taught me one thing. The more you hit the wall, the greater the chance of going through the wall. And so if you look up here, we hit this wall one other time, and then we can't even get to it. And we have lower highs. High, lower high. Technically lower high if we're looking at candle body. Lower high. Rolling over into support again for the fourth time. So bond yields are coming down, which is what I've been saying for a long fucking time. It's funny how people second guess me all the time about whether or not I'm right about stuff. And yet if you look at the macro setup, outside of not understanding that Trump was going to lay down the fucking hammer in April, I have called just about everything from a macro standpoint that's happened in this world. I said that we were going to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities. We fucking did it. I said that Trump was going to win tons of lawsuits. He's winning over 90% of them. I said that the government shutdown was going to be a nothing burger. All the stuff that keeps happening, I'm right about. What Scott Bessent is going to do, how we should help Argentina, the benefits that are going to come from that. We've got an election coming up. I've been right about all this shit, okay? All of it. And so second guess me, Trump, Elon Musk, all these other people, all you want. But if you attach yourself to brilliant people, that's what Trump is good at. Then and you don't have TDS and you look at the world around you with the lens of this is what the world actually is and weigh all the sides, you can realize that we're in a really great fucking place right now. Right now. We're in a great place. And I'm the person who's going to give you hedging strategies to keep your portfolio safe so that you can continue to ride this fucking wave higher. So hit the like, please comment, all that stuff. Bit Digital is 30% undervalued from here. There's so many things that are going up. It doesn't really matter. Polly, Jesse, you're always right. Early but right. Love your streams. Thank you. I appreciate that. Kirby Tax, I never second guess someone with 3x my portfolio. You should, though. You should. You should second guess everybody. You need to figure out who the oracles are. Who are the people that constantly tell you what's right? And it's Elon Musk, right? I would argue it's Tom Lee. He's done a really good job of that, too. I would argue that Mike Alfred is pretty good at that. That day might change. He might be too bullish when he's not supposed to be. You never know. But he's done a good job setting people down the right path. And there's others. And I like to think that I'm on that list. I think Amit is a great person. Amit is great at networking and understanding brilliant people. I think I'm good at that too. But Amit is really good at the networking. Really good at that part. And he's the hardest working motherfucker out here. There are just a lot of great people that you can reference to learn a lot. James, Invest Answers, love him, right? Like, absolutely wonderful guy. There's just so many brilliant people out there. It's hard to keep up with the whole list because there's so many. And thank you guys for becoming members. Again, you're going to be able to get that video later. And also you can speak in chat. Cheers from Israel. What's up, brother? Much love for Israel. I don't like it when people that are a minority in a region and really on the earth are persecuted by other people around them and demonized by people even on the right side, which I've become a part of. Like they're the devil when they've already had a Holocaust where people eliminated them because they thought they were inferior and that they were a better race and needed to wipe out the gypsies, the Jews, and then eventually all the other people on earth. You know, these people would have murdered everybody in Africa too, right? Like they were not good people. Anyway, not sure where I'm going with that, but yeah, don't persecute Jews. That's probably where I was going. Don't blame them for all your fucking problems. You sound like a whiny bitch. Okay, here we go. Let's keep going. Elon, Tom Lee, Raul Paul, James, Amit. Yeah, those are good people. I love when Trump teases Spanish president. Oh, dude, did you see him just raping and pillaging all these other guys at the Middle East Peace Summit? He was just like jerking Macron around. He was just fucking these people up and then blatantly, openly talking about how big of losers they are. Whoa, am I watching Scott Bessent? Is this an interview from the other day? What is this shit? 1 second. We might want to watch this. Plus, I haven't listened to Brad Gerstner yet. Let's get over here. I need to know what's going on here. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, we're watching this. We're watching this. This is like super. You want to, speaking of people who tell you what the future is, let's turn no further than the highest ranking gay man to ever be in office in the United States of America, Scott Bessent, because he speaks the truth, just like Stephen Moran and so many others. Also, I don't think America can be an incredibly racist country when we had a black man as the fucking president of the United States, and I voted for him, which means I probably can't be a racist either. So fuck you to anybody who believes that. All right, let's get started.
The CNBC Invest in America Forum.
This is fun. I didn't even know this was happening,
right
guys.
now. The event's bringing together investors, policymakers, and industry leaders for conversations about American industrial policy. And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is about
I love this
to
man,
speak
dude.
to our Sarah Eisen.
He's
Here
so
it comes.
cool.
Right now, let's listen in.
So thank you.
That's a brilliant
America
human being.
first.
America first. There we go. So the investment boom. I mean, it feels like every day we either get an Oval Office announcement from a CEO, some of whom
She
are
looks
here
so
today,
good.
or
Just saying.
some massive AI deal. Is this boom that we're seeing sustainable?
She's got to be like my
Sure,
age.
I think we're just seeing the beginning of it. And if we go back, sir, I think because there was so much pent-up demand, I think the entire Biden 4 years saw $1 trillion of foreign direct investment. Maybe it was 250 billion last year. So a couple of things. There's pent-up demand, but then President Trump has unleashed this this boom with his policies. So whether it is trade, tax, so the tariff policy, the great certainty that we have from the one big beautiful bill, and he's made it known that America's open for business.
I'm going to hit the bathroom super quick. Okay, be right back, guys. Don't go
we
anywhere.
will give you energy tax certainty. We're the biggest market in the world. We're going to give you regulatory certainty. One thing, everyone asked me, what was one of your biggest surprises coming into government? And we lost the ability to make things in the United States. And a lot of it was through regulation, permitting to get a factory built. God forbid if you tried to cross state lines on a pipeline, in terms of drilling. So President Trump has really been all in and unleashed that. Now, on the other side, the only thing slowing us down here is this government shutdown. The government is standing in the way. We've tried to get it out of the way. And, I think that this is the Democrats have not been able to shut President Trump down in the courts. They go straight to the courts to fight the policies. They lose in the Supreme Court. They've tried to shut him down, not with you all, but the media, creates these narratives. And then now they're just going to shut down the government, fold their arms, and not get anything done. And as we can see here, it's the private sector that's going to get it done. We need to get the government out of the way. We need to get it reopened. And I'm calling on moderate Democrats to come across the aisle, reopen the government, and you'll be a hero. You'll be a hero.
I mean, is that how this ends? We're on day 15, and it doesn't look like there's any sign of a deal.
Well, there's a thought out there that they're at least waiting to this crazy No Kings rally.
Scott sounds nervous, but he's not.
This weekend, which is going to be the farthest left, the hardest core, the most unhinged in the Democratic Party, which is, a big title. And
we're still bleeding down a little bit, guys, into the open. What's beautiful right now, and then we'll get right back to Scott, is if you look at ETH, again, this support is still holding beautifully. Solana looks the same way, guys. All the charts right now look so pretty. If you look over here, just look at this. I mean, again, the perfect drop, right? Look at this, the perfect drop. We had a strong bounce over here. It was a nice tweezer bottom. It was beautiful. We got the left nut. We got the right nut, large shaft in between. And the measured move gets us all the way up here to 640. You just can't hate that whatsoever. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It looks gorgeous. And then at the same time, again, Ethereum sitting perfectly where it needs to be. It's like everything is predestined and we're just receiving greater clarity all the time that we are on the right track. So even though we're seeing weakness in the morning, I think it's a really positive thing. I think it just leads to the fact that we're going to continue to go up. Sarah seems to swollen like she's using Botox. Well, hey, man, as long as she's putting it in the right places. You know what I mean?
No kings equal no paychecks.
Yeah, nuts and shaft. I think that's how we're going to do it. From if it's an inverse where we're bouncing, it's a nuts and shaft, and then if it's the other way and it's going down, it's a head and shoulders. I think that's the way it should have been the whole time.
We are paying our military today. The Pentagon went into surplus funds, and will be able to make the paychecks. And I think the other problem now is the mainstream media. If this were Republicans who'd shut down the government, there would have been screaming, there would have been examples of things going wrong. But because it's the Democrats, they're complicit. And like I said, if moderate Republican senators come across the aisle, they will be heroes.
Thanks, Winnie.
They need to break away from the hive, from this radicalism. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, they call them two guys from Brooklyn who are completely...
Here's the thing. It's not easy to, but that is what they should do, especially if you're in a more moderate district. There is no reason for you to go along with the craziness. They should back down. And if they don't, that's fine. I don't really care about the government shutdown. Nobody does. And we'll figure it out.
Detached from America.
Last one was 35 days.
To Senator Schumer's poll numbers. He did the right thing. President Trump congratulated him in the spring when he passed a clean CR. And what's changed between now and then? His poll numbers. He has collapsed in the polls, and now it looks like Representative Jeffries is going to be primaried from the left, and I didn't think there was any room over there.
Some people blame, people blame the current government for the shutdown. I mean, I know you're blaming the Democrats, but often the blame goes to...
The people who literally voted no were the Democrats. So, yes, we can blame it on them.
Who's in power?
How's that? Mike Johnson passed a clean CR. 3 Democratic senators have come over. The leader Thune has a vote every day, and they want to negotiate. We're saying reopen the government, negotiate.
Is it hurting the economy?
I've seen numbers that are starting to hurt the economy, maybe up to $15 billion a day.
Do you expect it to have a material impact on the labor market?
Could. I think it's having an...
I actually love all this. And I know that sounds crazy to say, but it's exactly what we've been looking for, right? If we think about it, what was I talking about? I said that we want to do all these pro-growth policies, the stuff that we looked at earlier at the start of this video, right? We want all these policies to be in effect. We want to be pushing everything in the right direction, and then we need to coil. And what better way to coil than to have the government shut down and not get all the data? And then at the same time for Scott Bessent to come on here and say that it's costing us $15 billion a day. If that doesn't say, hey guys, when the data comes, it's going to be bad, I don't know what does. And so they're deliberately doing this. They're telling you this and signaling this to coil that spring. They're just pulling it down and trying to get it as tight as they can. And then when this bitch does open up and we start getting data, people are going to know it's bad. They're going to look right past it and say, yeah, we know it's bad, but there's a spring coming because look at all this stuff that was behind it. And maybe this is a good time to get a temporary reset in markets again, something like we just recently did on Friday. But I think this is really optimistic, and I think it's going to bode well going forward. And I just wanted to point that out so you guys understand it. Thank you to everybody becoming members. Since you're members, you'll get that other video. I'm going to try and make it today. But worst case tomorrow, and you'll get a video about what hedge I'm jumping into. This one to really execute well on it is going to be options, but you don't have to. There's other tools too, and so we'll go over all of that in the video and explain it. And again, I've got my options 101 video. If you don't know how options work, you need to understand it, and you need to think about your allocation. You need to know this stuff. This is complex stuff. This doesn't suit everybody. So if you're going to learn, obviously don't start off with your whole fucking portfolio or some stupid shit. Just be wise. When I give you stuff like this, I'm trying to give you tools. I'm not trying to make you rich quick. I'm trying to give you tools to learn, and you learn with the right portions and proportions in your portfolio. And you don't blame others if things don't work out, and you take full responsibility for your own actions. That's how this agreement works. But I'll do my part. You do yours. Jesse, what's going on with MTPLF and TSWCF? I actually bought over $100,000 in those yesterday. I hope that they continue to bottom here and go down. Metaplanet's down 81%. Smarter Web is down over 91 or 92, I think. And I think that's a great place to be. I don't like that they were down because, again, I did a shift not too long ago where I was jumping out of miners like Iron. I sold all my calls. And then I was jumping into treasuries. Well, that still ended up being okay because I had all these calls still that I was sitting on with Clean Spark and Mara, and I wasn't getting rid of any of them. That's what I told you guys at the time. So again, the diversification route has treated me really well. And then we'll get back to Scott Bessent because I've had eggs in a lot of different baskets. By the way, I'm in the 6 millions now. Today could be 7 million. If we hit 7 million, it will be the highest my portfolio has ever been, and it'll be really close to my 12 million goal for the year. And again, if you haven't seen this before, I think from where we started to where we're at, up around here probably right now, and hopefully here or much higher, maybe even double this by the end of the year would be amazing. So I think we're doing some stuff right, and I'm proud of that. And hopefully you guys are learning something at the same time. I'm not perfect. I think that's the best part, guys, is that somebody said, have you done a puts video? It's kind of the same thing in the opposite direction. I don't even know if there's really a point of doing the video. You just do the opposite, right? So if you're going long on a call, and I think I briefly talk about it in there. If you're going long on a call, you're saying that you think it's going to go up, and you look at the calculator, right, that we use in the video, the Options 101 video. And then the other way is just going long on the put. These are simple strategies. They're not like covered calls or any of this other stuff. That we're not straddling anything. We're just doing some basic shit. But you can use it in reverse too. All right, let's listen to Scott.
Impact on confidence. We saw a drop in small business confidence, which had been very strong. So, hopefully we can get this. The Democrats will reopen, and we can get back off to the races.
Interestingly, the market lately has been more concerned about trade, I think, than the government shutdown, especially this latest flare-up between the U.S. and China. So what happened from your point of view? Because I thought talks were going well, lines of communication were open, and then we learned about this rare earth mineral restriction from China, and now it's back and forth, and things are heating up again.
They are, and the Chinese are trying to backfill the narrative, saying, well, the U.S. did A, B, and C, therefore we had to do D, and that's not true. There was a lower-level trade person who was slightly unhinged here in August. I think his name is Li Guangdong, and threatening, saying that China would unleash chaos on the global system if the U.S. went ahead with our docking fees for Chinese ships. And this is clearly something that they were planning all along. I think that things can de-escalate, that we don't want to have to escalate. We have things that are more powerful than the rare earth export controls that the Chinese want to put on. And sir, to be clear, this is China versus the world. It's not a U.S.-China problem. Good news is that this is IMF week. A lot of my all my counterparts are here. We're going to be speaking with our European allies, with Australia, with Canada, with India, and the Asian democracies. And we're going to have a fulsome group response to this, because bureaucrats in China cannot manage the supply chain or the manufacturing process for the rest of the world.
What is a fulsome response? What does that mean?
Working together.
We have lots of levers that we can pull for products that they need that could be equally damaging. We don't want to damage their economy. We don't believe that they want to damage ours, but they are a command and control economy, and they are going to neither command nor control us. And we're going to assert sovereignty, so are the Western allies. And part of this investment boom that we're seeing is President Trump wanted to reshore, and part of the reshoring is strategic. So we don't want to decouple with China. I don't believe they want to decouple, but this rare earth export control is a sign of decoupling.
But we need them, don't we?
Sorry?
We need those rare earth minerals, don't we?
We do.
I mean, that's leverage that they have on us.
We have lots of leverage on them, too.
We do. We have more
unfortunately.
We have semiconductors, right?
He's not going to talk about all the tools.
Many minerals that are also important for their supply system. But what we learned during
frozen,
COVID,
right.
COVID was a test run for what we're seeing now in terms of bringing back strategic industries. So we have this big investment boom, and I would say 10, 15, 20% of it is bringing back 5 to 7 strategic industries that we need, whether it's pharma, whether it's semiconductors, whether it's shipbuilding, whether it's steel and rare earths. So this rare earths problem was decades in the making. Every past administration should be ashamed. President Trump tried to solve it in his last term, and the environmentalists
very
threw a
strong.
fit. So
He's not fucking
here we
around.
are. But again, I'm optimistic. We are now communicating at very high levels.
Like right now?
Right now.
With your counterpart? I think there was an effort to get you. There was a report today. There was an effort to get you with your counterpart in China, the vice premier.
Love that.
There have been many outreaches, and a good thing too is China has, as they always do, a large delegation everywhere. They have a large delegation here at IMF World Bank Week, so
You're meeting with them?
They're working level meetings.
Okay. Is the Trump-Xi meeting still on?
As far as I know, President Trump is a go on that. But, again, we'll see. I think they have an excellent relationship. And the reason this didn't really
We're about to go into the threes
is,
and the 10-year guys.
The level of trust between the two leaders. So that's an enduring part of U.S.-China, and everything else stems from that.
Is it also because the market clearly does not want to see things get worse? I mean, we saw a big slide on Friday.
Yeah, I think this narrative, terrible Wall Street Journal today article, complete, that they're taking CCP dictation, that President Trump.
And they do that. The Wall Street Journal, guys, was the most accurate publication from the West on who Xi Jinping was going to pick for his Communist Party when he rose to power. That you don't want to be the most accurate on that, because that says that you have connections with the CCP that others just do not have.
He likes a high stock market, but he, like me, believes that the high stock market is a result of good policy.
Yes, James.
And it's the policies that we're talking about here today in terms of this CapEx boom. And so the stock market is a result. And if we have to take strong measures against the Chinese, it won't be because the stock, or we won't negotiate because the stock market's going down. We will negotiate because we are doing what is best economically for the U.S.
The other thing that's keeping the stock market so high is the investment boom we're seeing in AI. And there's this question now about whether we're getting into bubble-like territories
so
just
awesome
because of the amount of spending and how quickly
we're doing
it's
so much better
happening
than the rest of the
on
world.
a technology that's unproven and hasn't been profitable yet.
Sure. So
are we in a bubble?
Couple of things. As you may know, I'm not an economist. I'm an economic historian. I have taught the history of booms and busts and
traded them.
Literally a teacher.
And traded them, thank you. And I think we are...
Broke the Bank of England.
Could we be in the third inning? So
Early.
I think this is just taking off.
Third inning of investment in AI?
Oh, sure. An investment.
I think he's talking baseball, guys. I don't know if you know how many innings there are in baseball, but third is not a bad place to be. So what he's saying is this thing could go easily into the 2035 range.
In usage, I think there's a very good chance we see, like in the 90s,
That's a big deal.
with the internet, that with office equipment finally having the productivity miracle. So we had substantial productivity increases in the 90s. I think we're starting to see that now. When I talk to Silicon Valley investors and to corporate America, they think that the AI implementation is just...
I want to say something real quick. So Sats said relief pitchers aren't even warming up yet in the third inning. It's true. Todd Gleason says AI could bring it into extra innings. I actually disagree with that statement, but I think it's in a different way than people would assume. I think AI can end the game. I think it can end the game. And I don't know if it will, and that's why we're going to have good hedging strategies so that if we're wrong, we make a ton of money, and then we don't have to worry about anything. I fucking love this game, man. Yes, sir. I agree, Wendell. But I think AI could end the game because I think AI could make it to where we're so prosperous that we don't have a recession because the money printer can go burr. The money printer can go burr because Bitcoin it can absorb it, and other parts of markets can absorb it, and the top investors will get rich. And as we've seen, I've shown you charts showing that the lower end after COVID, they started taking their stimmies and that some of that extra money, and they started investing, and they got addicted to it. And that's a good thing. Maybe some of them are doing perpetuals and leveraging and shit, but some are actually investing in real companies, and they're going to have a wealth effect that we haven't seen before out of lower demographics of our society. So I think that we could get to a point where we're getting a lot of people rich, and we have some kind of something better than universal basic income, where we have like a citizen minimum amount of pay where everybody gets a bunch of money. It gets soaked up into markets. It gets soaked up into AI. It gets soaked up into Bitcoin. It gets soaked up into gold. And the world is just expanding at a rate like we have never seen throughout history before. An industrial age that is revolutionary based upon anything we've seen throughout history. That's what I think is coming. But at the same time, I'm going to hedge myself to where I don't have shit to worry about while I'm getting rich as fuck. Because we got that $1 billion goal, right? That's what we're shooting for. For anybody who is new here, before 2035, I want to be a billionaire. So that's what we're going to make happen. Let's listen to Scott.
Really going to start biting in terms of productivity first, second quarter.
Yeah,
of
I
next
agree,
year.
Loss.
And I think the other thing too is
we can look at T-Doc.
Biden administration wanted to shackle up AI through this diffusion policy. They wanted to regulate it. Just a few of the biggest.
James, I'm making a separate video. I'm going to try and get it out today that talks about the hedging strategy, and it talks about how you can do based upon your different levels of risk and the different vehicles that I'm going to be using for it. And so I'll try and get that out today, worst case tomorrow. And anybody who's a member on YouTube will get access to that, and other people will not.
Companies would have had access.
Well, also you'll be able to see it too in portfolio trades when I'm posting on there. I haven't done it yet for these because again, some of this I'm using options, and I've got to get mine before I publish to other people, because when I publish to thousands and thousands of people, you guys could wipe out what I'm trying to do in my contracts really quickly by pumping the bags. And I'm really reluctant, honestly, to even post what my options contracts are, because I don't want people pumping my bags either. So it's one of those things where that's why I made the options 101 video, so people could kind of figure out how to fish and they're not just following me and jumping into something and overbidding it really, really a lot over the short term, because that can suck where it drops down. Because the people that bought it don't really understand what they're doing, haven't taken the time to do the work, and they sell, and then it creates downward pressure, which sucks later, maybe at the wrong time. So, but I will show those to members in the video, and then I probably won't show them again later in other stuff. I'll probably, outside of like, again, if you're a sub and you're getting my portfolio trades. Panda, thank you for joining. Is Mara at a good entry right now? I think Mara is breaking out, guys. We should look at this real quick. My friend Steve Urkel, dude, has a good chart on this. So again, as far as just explosive behavior, Bitfarms and Iron are hitting a wall, but they could really they're going to the banana zone. This blue zone is a banana zone, okay? So they're going to look really good. But yeah, okay, here we are. Let's go to Mara. Here we are at the Mara. So Mara is also something special because it is sitting right here, getting ready. So it's got, first off, like, essentially is like what a cup and a handle, right? And it's breaking out of that. And the measured move gets us over here to the .618 golden retracement zone. So that's cool in and of itself, right? But then it's also breaking out of a multi-year trend that goes back to 2014. And so that's the red line right here. So once we really start to break out and we're going to hit some resistance over here at 24 to like 26. But once we break above 26, guys, it's off to the fucking races. I think we can very quickly hit these other levels. And I need to change this because we've already went up so much. I need to change these percentages. So I think on the low end, I think this thing can do 87%. That would get the market cap for this company to about $15 billion. I think that's a no-brainer. I think that there's a good chance that we test up here to 65 or maybe even 80. Those numbers are insane. Those are really crazy numbers. But honestly, if we just get up here towards 64, that's a 200% increase from where we're at. That is a big number if you've got options contracts. And I have 600,000 in it. So that should turn out pretty fine. Hit the like. I agree. Wendell says AI is democratizing software, tech. So the money will flow into AI apps and the energy that powers it, which is Bitcoin. We know that because we saw a post from Elon Musk where he talked about how Bitcoin is energy and how fiat can be faked and you can produce a ton of it, but you can't. But energy makes Bitcoin honest and makes anything that's calculated in it honest. And that's a beautiful thing. AI Gold Rush is about power, Bitfarms, Cypher, Hive. Yeah, and I think, again, at CleanSpark, I mean, let's look at the CleanSpark post. There's so much to talk about, but we'll jump to Bitcoin. I've got so many posts I haven't even went over. So first off, there's something called the heart line. This is a trend that goes back in Bitcoin that goes back to 2017. And that's where we peaked over here. But look at this. You can see the double top over here. I argue that we actually would have saw 100,000 plus in Bitcoin's price if this would have been allowed to run and if the Fed wouldn't have raised rates at the most aggressive rate in history. I think we could have went higher than this. But as a bare minimum, you can see the support. And now we're hitting this midline and looking to break above it. And this is the banana zone in Bitcoin. If you look at it from where it's at, 300,000 does not look crazy. And then you've got that absolutely absurd number from Josh Mann, who I have unfollowed. I just can't stand the guy. But he could be right about us getting to 400,000. I think that's way at the top end of the number. I'd be happy with 160 to 190. I think that's a number where I'm probably looking to at least remove all my leverage and just get into Bitcoin. But if we go higher than that, great. There's going to be a lot of people that are made rich. Candy's Cat thinks the gold's hit its all-time high here and that it's going to start tapering off. I agree. I think it could actually go to 5,300 and then banana zone some shit. But I think it's nearing its limits and it's almost $30 trillion, which is beautiful. Hermes says, at what point does BTC rating no longer matter? I want to bring this up because this is talking about Metaplanet. So what is BT rating? It's how many times a company's Bitcoin treasury covers its debt. So what we're telling you right now is that with this company, and again, this isn't the price. The prices went in the other direction. They have 141x BTC rating, which means they can cover their debt with their holdings 141 times. That is a huge number. Eventually, Wall Street is going to recognize that treasuries do hold value because they do, and they're going to bid these fuckers up again, and I think you're going to start to see a multiplier come back in the stock during irrational exuberance time. And so right now with this thing down 82%, I like the play, and I'm going to take some of the money that I continually make off of CleanSpark, ArcG, and Mara. Combined, I have over $3.2 million in those options contracts. They could go up another 30% today. I could make $1 million today just from those and be close to $7.4 million if they took off again today. So as these things happen, I'm going to be adding to that hedge. I'm going to be adding to ARGT, probably just stock for now. I still think that one can roll over and go further down, I hope. And I would like to buy long leaps that are multi-years out if that happens. I'm buying Metaplanet. I'm buying TSWCF down 91%. I'm buying Solt. I'm buying BMNU if we continue to get drops today. Those are the things I'm going to be buying, okay? And I'm not going to be buying as much of the leverage things because, again, I'm trying to reduce leverage. So I'll buy a little bit of them, but I'm really trying to focus on like buying these oversold things and the things that are going to be more stable in the future that have less downside risk, right? I'm trying to decouple as I make shit tons of money. Let's talk CleanSpark. We can talk about CleanSpark. I don't know if there's much to say. There are things going on. We could pull up some posts from Matthew Schultz. He's been talking a lot about CleanSpark. It's obviously went up a lot in a very short period of time. In a period of 6 weeks, we have went up 154%. So all the people that have been bitching about CleanSpark can't bitch about it right now. But we're going high. We're going much higher, I think. But I'm deleveraging along the way, and I'm putting the money in things that make it safer for me day by day. I'm de-risking day by day while giving myself additional asymmetric upside opportunities, and that's what we work to do. I don't know what else to say about this. I know that Matthew Schultz, let's pull him up. Let me bring this back over here, and we'll pull up that because he loves to talk. Let me do this too. I'm going to bring over Iron and some of these others and put them back where they belong because I do like monitoring them on my other screen over here. And again, we'll get Metaplanet over here too. I'm going to put some of these things back just so I can keep track of them. So give me a second here. And again, so I think that Metaplanet and SWC, I think they can go down still more, but I'm cool with it. Again, I like like buying stuff. How about PayPal? Asymmetric leaps. I hate PayPal. I'll never touch it again. I'll never look at it again. Unless they get a new CEO. I don't like woke bullshit, and I'm not investing in it. And I gave them an opportunity thinking that they had switched, and they had not. They're still doing stupid shit. Tomar, Jesse, do you think it's a good point, not that it can't go up, to add to SMCI leaps? I was actually thinking about that. I might do that too. Leadership matters. Agreed. Jesse is the GOAT of self-taught investors. Thank you. High school dropout, rocking it here. XYZ over PayPal. Yeah, I agree. I would rather have XYZ. In case you don't know what XYZ is, let me just pull it up here. It is Block. Oh, if you type it right, XYZ. It's Block, and I would like Block better. These guys are making Bitcoin miners too, which I love. Did they already launch? Oh, wait, that's not right. What do I have here? XYZ. I don't know why I have the AMD in here. That doesn't look anything like their chart. Let me save this. Make sure I get the right chart in here. Oh, I need to do this up. Oh, dude. This is interesting. This is an interesting chart. I'm not going to lie. You might have got me interested in XYZ. I'm just going to do this job. It's consolidating before the .618. That's fascinating. So that's good. That's good. I think there's a potential for this thing to go to 200. Yeah, this is interesting. I'll probably look at this a little bit more lately. Any update on ARCG? Yeah, no, I love it. ARCG still looks great. Again, we had an attempt at a back test, and I don't even think we could back test it properly. So could it still go down in the future? It could. But I think this is a beautiful back test, actually, because on the weekly time frame, we went above the 200 weekly moving average. We broke down underneath of it. We tried to go down to this trend line that's, many years old. It goes back to February 2022. Over 3 years, almost 3.5 years probably. And we couldn't even get back to it. And then we started testing above the 200 moving average. I love that. That looks like wicked continuation to me. I wouldn't be surprised to see 100% move in ARCG between now and the end of the month. That will make those contracts look really, really good. We are entering oversold territory. But if we look at what happened in 2020, you can see that we hit oversold just over and over again as it continued to skyrocket higher. So I would, if we get to like a little bit before 80, I would be concerned that maybe you want to take a little bit off the table. But I think we can get to 80 on the RSI, and then I think that we can go even higher. I think we could do a 90 on an RSI, which is above every other level that this thing has ever seen. This is probably after crypto, but I don't know. Everything's taking off. So I don't know for sure, but I do like this opportunity. I've got $1.1 million in options contracts that vary anywhere from January and at 48 or 50, I think it is, all the way over to December of 2026. So I've got a lot of contracts there too. Very exciting. I like XYZ. I think it could do good. In the year, what are we talking about? 100% before end of the month. No, probably year. I wouldn't. If you're trying to time a month, guys, that's such a short time frame. But my contracts are January. So if this goes up, let's say 100%, and we hit the $60 range, I probably made $5 to $7 million off of my ARCG position, something like that. So that would be a nice little bonus that is unrelated to crypto and anything that happens in that. And unrelated to TLT, something else I'm looking at for maybe a hedge. We'll talk about that more in my upcoming video. Jessica, can you share your thoughts on DPST? It's a 3X regional banks. Regionals can do well, I think. I would rather I don't know. I still like SoFi, even though it has went up a lot. I think I like SoFi as just a cleaner play. And again, these guys are looking to capitalize off the student loan market. They've consolidated on the banana zone. So this guy has consolidated on the banana zone. It went from $8 to $28, and what I'm telling you is it's making a run to $50. So it's going to double here soon. And then I don't know if it can go much higher than that. That would be a $65 billion company. Rocket Mortgage, that's a thought. Are they one of the best lending platforms, or who's the best lending platform? Do we know? What's the ticker for Rocket Mortgage? I don't even know. What is it? Here, I'll just type out the word for now. I'll do a copy. Let me know if you have the ticker. Oh, wait. You know what I should do first anyway? Should look over here. RKT, thank you. I want to see what this looks like. I actually have my mortgage through Rocket. Lots of debt. They've had to dilute a lot. But they could be diluting just to get ready for what's coming. Their PE ratio is a little rich, forward 36. Estimates show them making more money. Institutional ownership has climbed a lot. Shares held short as a percentage is low, still at 4%. Retail ownership has went up. Sentiment is sitting at what? It's bearish for news. Analysts aren't really positive yet. Earnings call sentiment was very bullish. So to me, it looks like retail is probably more interested in this than other people are. It doesn't look like it's taken off in a while. And if we look at yearly revenues, guys, you can see what 2020 looked like. I think we could surpass 2020. So what was the stock at that peak? I don't even know. This is before that. So let's look at the stock. This is interesting. I'm not going to lie. This is interesting. Interesting discussion we have going on today with Rocket Mortgage. Thank you guys. Hit the like if you like what's going on. Yeah, become members if you want to hear about my hedging strategies too. They just bought Redfin and they bought Redfin. Whoa. That's fucking cool, dude. I love that. I like Redfin. I like Trulia too. That's what I use for my app a lot, but I like Redfin. So they've got a lot of technological advancement under their belt right now. And they're already a good mortgage company. So what did they do in 2020? 2021, they basically busted into IPO. They got up in the 27th. I'd say it's an easy double from here. But let's look at the chaos underneath and see what we have. Let's do this. I think this is what we're operating off of. So we're going to look at shorter time frame shit just to keep it simple. So I think it's very easy to get up to 26 for this one. But I think there's a chance that we go to 29, 30. I think there's a chance for 35. And I think we could banana zone. So what I'm telling you is this thing could go as high as like 57 or at least attempt this range up here, maybe 50. I think that's pretty doable. So that's a 200% increase. So what do the options look like for that? I don't know. You guys got me intrigued, yo. You guys got me intrigued. What are we sitting at? It's 801. Let's look one more time at just where markets are at. We got Bitfarms over here. Don't care too much. We got Path. That one's kind of interesting with its consolidation. We got XYZ. That one's interesting. We got where we're sitting in the morning. We got we're testing down a little bit in Bitcoin, but we're still finding strong support in the altcoins. I'm willing to bet that the ETH BTC ratio shows ETH doing better. I think it's probably that way. Yeah, okay. So that's good. So I think this is a good day. I think this is a risk-on day. I'm excited about it. I'm probably going to call it here, guys, at 8:02. I know it's kind of early, but I'm probably going to call it. I think we're going up today. I've given you guys what my game plan is. I'll post about my hedging strategy a little bit later. I've already given so many hints about it. A lot of you could probably already figure it out. But I'm going to look at Rocket probably at some point too and look at other strategies, and we'll try and figure out what's coming next. But I'm excited, guys. Great things coming. Remember to take some profits. And but still leave some on the table. I'm still sitting with CleanSpark. I'm probably less than 30% sold out right now, probably in the 25, 20, or maybe 27 range. And I'll sell more as we go higher. But again, not too crazy. I'm just going to enjoy it and use it for other opportunities.